Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. The Descendants and Zombies show is once again live on YouTube. I am your host, Jonathan Clarke. Incredibly honored to be in your guys' presence to talk about Descendants and Zombies once again. I want to say thank you to everybody for the love and support that you have shown this YouTube channel and the love and support you came out with for the Worlds Collide Tour this summer. What an honor it was of mine to cover it for you, making it the greatest summer of my life. Thousands of people have subscribed to this YouTube channel. If you are not one of them, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button because I think there's a greater appreciation coming from the fans than ever before for Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland, and the Descendants franchise. I, for one, am incredibly excited about Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland. I just saw some of the more recent photos of the cast. They look so excited for the premiere of Descendants 5. I know it's a year away. That seems like forever away, but even though it is forever away, I will upload a video about Descendants and Zombies at least once every day for you guys on this YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, you're going to want to do that. This new cast looks absolutely phenomenal. Liamani Segura playing Pink. Keanu Romero is going to be playing Hazel Hook, of course, the daughter of Captain Hook. And then we have, of course, the sister of Red Pink, who is going to present so much confliction in this franchise for the very first time ever. I am looking forward to meeting Liamani Segura because I think she is going to offer an incredible amount of dedication and perseverance to this franchise that we have never ever seen before. I, for one, have been incredibly fond of Pink. I haven't even met her yet because I think she's going to offer so much to this franchise, and I'm excited to meet her and find out what she's all about. She's been referred to as a mini Bridget. As much as I miss Ruby Rose Turner being a part of the Descendants franchise, I will forever miss Ruby Rose Turner. I think we should show more respect to Keanu Romero and Liamani Segura because I think these stars are going to offer so much to the franchise, unlike anybody who's ever been a part of the franchise before. We've seen so many wonderful people be a part of Descendants in the past and currently right now. Of course, Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, Cameron Boyce, we all remember him and his contributions to the franchise. I mean, his contributions will never ever be forgotten because he was one guy who I was particularly fond of. Dove Cameron was someone who I fell in love with overnight and became famous overnight because of everything I said about Dove Cameron in the first few videos I threw up on this YouTube channel over a year and a half ago. But I think that when we see this new cast coming into Descendants, this is going to give Alice in Wonderland characters a chance to shine unlike they've ever had the opportunity to shine before. And that's what makes me so excited to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies and to be here for you guys on this incredible journey talking about everything Descendants and Zombies, because Descendants and Zombies really allowed me to find my place in the world and to fall into a specific niche that I never ever wanted to leave. I say this because you guys are so incredibly supportive. At the Worlds Collide Tour this summer, you showed up and you enjoyed every single moment that you were part of something special because you knew it was history and you knew you were going to be a part of it. You shied away from all the criticism the critics were offering on YouTube days before the Worlds Collide Tour. All you wanted was to be a part of it, and you had that opportunity, and you had that honor. Just as I've had the honor of being in your presence to talk about Descendants and Zombies, because I believe, you see, there's a certain passion that goes with talking about Descendants and Zombies. And if you're going to showcase Liamani Segura, if you are going to talk about Keanu Romero, then talk about them in a way that they deserve to be talked about. I don't think we need to talk about all the mistakes that Dove Cameron has been caught up within and received criticism for. I think if we're going to talk about someone like Dove Cameron, we need to talk about the value behind her music and every message of every song that she's put out, because Alchemical in December of 2022 was a phenomenal record. Also was Kylie Cantrell's EP that was released. So too was the EP of Meg Donnelly. MegDonnelly.com has been selling millions of copies, and over 250,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel really says a lot. But you know, I think that Kylie Cantrell does such a fabulous job with her performances every single night that she's on stage that she doesn't deserve all the criticism that she receives. She's crying because she misses her friends. She doesn't understand why the critics feel the way they do about her. I think that we really need to give Kylie Cantrell more of a chance and more opportunities to be in the spotlight, because I really do believe that people like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner would be phenomenal live-action adaptations of Jasmine and Rapunzel for the live-actions Aladdin and Tangled. I say this because I was always a big fan of those franchises. I was the biggest fan of Aladdin ever. I remember playing the Super Nintendo video game Aladdin 100 times over. And when I say 100 times over, 100 times over, it was my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time. So, of course, years ago, Disney would have to rush these video games to production because they wanted to have the video game released ever before the movie. And I remember being so excited to play it. I had Aladdin pajamas, I had Aladdin action figures, man, I had everything you could get for Aladdin. And I was so proud to be an Aladdin fan. So when I saw these characters like, Aladdin and Jasmine eventually become a part of the Descendants franchise, I was so excited about it. I was so excited too about how Ruby Rose Turner wanted to be the live action Rapunzel for the Tangled franchise, because I was so supportive of Ruby for that role, because there was nobody who looked more beautiful than what Ruby did. I mean, Ruby is absolutely stunning, so breathtaking. So I mean, you talk about how these stars, really didn't live up to your expectations because of the Worlds Collide tour and what have you, but I really do believe that they are some of the most beautifully talented people that we've ever had the opportunity to talk about and to be in the presence of. And so too do they believe that they have the honor of being in your guys' presence to offer you inspirational thoughts and to inspire you to become your own version of a Descendants character. Because I really do believe that even if people want to be a part of the Descendants franchise, that dream is that much closer to you than you've ever realized. And if people like Ruby Rose Turner want to pursue, roles of Tangled and roles of Aladdin, go for it. Because I really do believe, as much of a wonderful job that Naomi Scott did years ago being Jasmine, I think that Kylie Cantrell would be a top consideration if I were director of the live-action Aladdin, perhaps Aladdin 2. It would definitely have to be Kylie Cantrell. So to say that more opportunities are not in the works for Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner, I think that would be an understatement, because in all honesty, I think that more opportunities can be shown to them, can be given to them, and more of a spotlight can be shined on them, because they really do deserve it. And I say the same thing about Freya Sky. As far as I'm concerned, Freya Sky is the next Taylor Swift. Regardless of how you feel about her, I really do believe that she is going to be something spectacular, and I'm really excited to be a part of whatever she has in store for her, because if there ever was a new Taylor Swift to represent this new generation, it would have to be her. I remember when Taylor Swift first came out with her first debut album. It was called Tim McGraw years ago, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful representation of just what Taylor Swift was going to amount to. Nobody ever thought that she was going to be as big of a star as what she became. But when she first burst onto the country music scene in 2008 with her self-titled album, Taylor Swift, the debut single was Tim McGraw, I knew she had everything special. And I think that Freya Sky is one of those stars of this new generation that kind of has that same criteria met, which is why I'm incredibly supportive of everything Freya Sky's got going on for her right now. The relationship between herself and Malachi Burton has been put on display so many times. I remember one specific moment during the Worlds Collide tour where they shared the stage together after doing the duet Dream Come True, and they were out in the crowd, and the crowd was feeling so embraced by them. It was truly unbelievable, and they too were feeling embraced by the crowd, so the feeling was mutual. And they come back up on the stage, and then Malachi Burton from out of nowhere puts his arm around Freya Sky and says, "This girl is going to be something special. She's so full of life, so full of talent." And I said, this man has a lot of respect for everybody. And that's exactly what I wanted the guys on Disney Channel to amount to years ago. Unfortunately, it took me years to get to a point where I'd realized the stars of Disney Channel who were guys had that same amount of respect that girls did. Because I felt as if the girls on Disney Channel years ago were far more appreciative of opportunities than what the guys were. And they had such a fabulous image, like Miley Cyrus and Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez. They all had fabulous images. But when it came to the guys like the Jonas Brothers and Ross Lynch and Mitsu Musso, it seemed like they were very arrogant people. So I'm really proud that we've kind of come into a generation now where guys have that same mutual respect and understanding for a girl. And that's why the chemistry between people like Freya Sky and Malachi Burton is absolutely unbelievable. And if not a Taylor Swift, Freya Sky is definitely going to be an Ariana Grande. And I'm not just saying this because I'm the biggest Ariana Grande fan in the world, and I've often felt that Taylor Swift was very overrated. I'm saying it because I see that. I see this passion in Freya Sky that is so unbelievably remarkable. And I think that the criticism that she is receiving, coming home on the subway, on the tour bus, I think it's absolutely ridiculous, because I think that more of an opportunity needs to be shown to someone like Freya Sky. We need to give her more of a chance, because this character, Nova, the beautiful thing about Nova's character is we don't know a whole lot about her. We know she likes to have plain cheeseburgers from McDonald's at midnight. We know she loves to play board games and video games, and she loves to write music. That's all we know. So by the time the Zombies franchise introduces us to this new franchise and this new turn in direction, I think that more people are going to be fans of it. I mean, people who forever and always were fans of the original Zombies trilogy are going to love this new franchise too, because they're going to remember how much the original Zombies trilogy had meant to to them growing up. I mean, I remember watching Zombies when I was 25, so I wasn't, as cool as you guys getting the opportunity to watch it at such young ages. I watched Zombies for the first time when I was 25 years old. I was blown away by how a girl could fall in love with a zombie and stay in love with them for the rest of her life and want to sacrifice everything just to be a part of their life for forever. That was amazing. Because while it introduces us to the concept of a girl falling in love with a zombie for forever, it also encourages us that dreams can happen for really anybody. That's what I really loved about Zombies. No matter if your dream was joining the cheerleading squad or joining the football team, which, come to think of it, me being on the football team, you're never going to see that happen because I'm not as athletic as what I may seem to be, and I haven't been to the gym in forever, so I don't think I'll ever be on the football team. Probably somebody out there watching this video has a better chance of, making the football team or the cheerleading squad than I ever have. But I think it's really cool how not only did they inspire us that a girl could fall in love with a zombie, but dreams are that much closer to somebody than ever before, which is why every scene in Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires meant so much. From the final scene to the very first moment that Zed and Addison met each other, it was all building up for history to be made because we were going to be a part of history undoubtedly with Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, and we had that opportunity. And I never felt so honored to be in the presence of so many wonderful people. Talking about Descendants and Zombies, sharing in our favorite moments, being in love with the franchise so much, because I really see nothing wrong with it. I was forever and always a fan of Aladdin and Alice in Wonderland and Beauty and the Beast. I think Beauty and the Beast was one of my first animated classics that I had the opportunity to watch. And I remember Robbie Benson being such a powerful representation of the beach, and Peggy O'Hare doing a fabulous voiceover for Belle. And I fell in love with it. I remember how the Little Mermaid was so curious about the outside world from, the land and the sea, and she wanted to fall in love with somebody who she just thought so much over. It was amazing, the curiosity of the Little Mermaid, how curious Rapunzel was in Tangled years later. So because I was a huge fan of all this stuff, and I see the value in Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner's performance levels, I think that critics just offering them criticism is really unnecessary, because I think that if Ruby Rose Turner wants to be Rapunzel, if Kylie Cantrell wants to be Jasmine, more power to her, because I really do believe that as a little girl, Kylie Cantrell used to have dreams of flying on a magic carpet. I did too. I wanted to know how to drive a magic carpet before I wanted to do anything. That's the cool thing about me. I wanted to drive a side-by-side through a rabbit hole for forever that had been closed for years because it looked quite fun. I always wanted the opportunity to dance on stage with a bunch of zombies. That's why I know what it's like to be each and every one of you. Why I know there is everything to know about Descendants and Zombies. Because if you're going to talk about Descendants and Zombies, you have to show up with that appreciation for Descendants and Zombies, because fans of Descendants and Zombies have a greater appreciation for the franchises than they are ever given credit for. If a fan is watching you because they are a fan of Descendants and Zombies, you've got to understand they are a fan of Descendants and Zombies. So they know everything there is to know about Mila Manhunt. They know everything there is to know about Meg Donnelly. So the thing is, you've got to show up, you've got to really be on point, you've got to tell them why you're a fan of Descendants and Zombies. For me, it had everything to do with acceptance, true love, how fairy tales could last for forever. There were a lot of reasons why I was a fan of Descendants and Zombies. It wasn't just because of the music, it just wasn't because of the story, it was because a lot of moments that we saw in Descendants, and especially Zombies, reminded me of my own life. Because I really do believe that everybody wants to get to that point in their lifetime where they want to find true love, and they want to stay with that person for forever and always, because it's all Zed and Addison ever wanted to do, was stay together for forever and be together for the rest of their lives. No matter how many sacrifices they had to make and put each other before everything else in their life, they had no problem doing it. And by the end of Zombies 4, they had that opportunity to achieve their dreams. Their ultimate goal was to spend the rest of their lives out together, and they had that honor. And I am so honored to be here to talk about it. And even though the story of Zed and Addison may have been told and completed in Zombies 4, I want you guys to know that I will forever and always support Zed and Addison, and they will always be the topic of conversation on this YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to do that. I was also a huge fan of Meg Donnelly on The Winchesters and American Housewife too, because it was a very different character. Seeing her play Taylor Otto was really out there. It was really far out there, but it was really a punk Barbie doll kind of character, and I really loved that too about her, because it was just amazing seeing how far she had come from Zombies, and realizing that Zombies had given her such an opportunity. I will never forget that emotional moment when they hugged each other after they had sung the duet Someday, and they realized they had gotten to a moment where they had done it. And I think that every star realizes that the greatest honor of a star's life is when they realize they get to a moment where they've achieved greatness. And when they got to that moment with zombies, it was such an honor to know that, I had supported it. All of us had supported it together, and we're the best of friends now because of Descendants of Zombies. I think that Descendants of Zombies is such an inspiration to so many wonderful people. And I think that more people should be encouraging on their YouTube videos that there's nothing wrong with being a fan of Descendants of Zombies. That's forever what I've always wanted to do, is encourage you that hopes and dreams could last forever, that no matter what you were going through in your own life, you would find your way out of darkness and back into the light, because I've often believed that everybody has a light. No matter how hard it is to find your light, you always do eventually find it. And I think that Zed and Addison eventually did find their light. And trust me, even though we have more to learn about Victor and Nova's characters, they will find their light. Because I think that Freya Sky is one of the most respectable people to ever work with the Disney company. So too do I believe that Malachi Burton is the same. So I think that their chemistry is just going to be off the charts in this. Whatever's inside of that vortex, they will rule over. And I'm really excited to find out what's inside of that vortex, because it really could be anything. It could be mermaids, it could be pirates, it could be sirens, it could be witches, it could be something entirely different than what's being speculated on. The cool thing is we're making early on predictions, and the movie's not going to happen for another 4 years. So because the movie's not going to happen for another 4 years, who knows what's inside of this thing? I have often wondered, what would I ever do if I encountered a mermaid? I don't know, because I think they're very beautiful characters, they're very unpredictable characters, and I think they have a lot to offer to the franchise. And I was a big fan of Pirates of the Caribbean years ago, so I would go for pirates being a part of this. I would even go for Captain Jack Sparrow's son being a part of it. There you go. That's another storyline right there. Captain Jack Sparrow's son or daughter seeing their introduction into the Zombies franchise, because pirates have been a big rumor for this one for forever. And because I live on an island where there are so many stories having to do with pirates, I would go for that. So there you go, a new storyline just right then and there, created for zombies, about the son of Jack Sparrow, the son or daughter of Jack Sparrow, finding their way into the franchise, perhaps capturing Freya Sky so that Malachi Burton has to go on an adventure to save her, or the other way around. Malachi Burton gets captured by pirates, and then of course she has to save him from probably the daughter of Captain Jack Sparrow. Who knows? There's so much of a storyline that could be created for this kind of thing. And I'm just really excited to be a part of it, to be here as your analyst of Descendants of Zombies, and to have known everything I've known about Descendants of Zombies to create this wonderful show for you guys, to offer you incentive and to offer you inspiration on what the future has in store. I really do love these new photos that they've been taking for the PR for Descendants. The cast looks so happy together. And that's something that I give them a fundamental respect for, is because I think that when you have a cast that is so loyal to a product like Descendants of Zombies, who believe in it so much, I think that never enough respect can be shown to them. I think that Kylie Cantrell has seen her fair share of criticism. So if she wants to have fun and get lost in the moment, more power to her. Honestly, more power to her, because I think that, when a girl is crying herself to sleep every night because she can't make sense of why critics feel the way they do about her, they feel the way they do about her because they do. And they not know how to feel any other way. So because they don't know how to feel any other way, I think that Kylie Cantrell really needs to learn to shy away from the criticism and realize that the love and support that she's forever and always wanted exists in the hearts of every fan, whoever said they were a fan of Descendants of Zombies. Because I, too, am just as big of a fan of Descendants of Zombies as each and every one of you. I love this franchise so much. I think it offers so much inspiration to so many wonderful people from all walks of life. And it shows. Because every single year, Descendants of Zombies becomes more popular. Every single year, a new storyline is created. And that's what these new characters is going to present to the franchise, is an opportunity for a new storyline to be created, regardless of what the storyline is. I've talked about how revered characters from Alice in Wonderland have been, because there's so much of a history that goes with Alice in Wonderland. I was a big fan of the video game Kingdom Hearts years ago, so I used to play the Alice in Wonderland world out over and over again, chasing after the White Rabbit, defeating the Queen of Hearts. And just last night I played the Alice in Wonderland season inspired by Alice in Wonderland characters. The Queen of Hearts, Alice, the Cherokee Cat, the Mad Hatter. Tracks inspired by Alice in Wonderland. So there's such a history that goes with Alice in Wonderland, and I can't forget to mention how annoying the Queen of Hearts was. I can't even begin to tell you guys how annoying the Queen of Hearts voice was, because they used the original Queen of Hearts voice for the video game, and it was so annoying. And I was a really big fan of the Kingdom Hearts video game series, so I can't even begin to tell you how many times, how many hours I would put behind playing Kingdom Hearts and playing the Alice in Wonderland world. And I think there are more fans of Alice in Wonderland than ever given credit for. As annoying as Alice in Wonderland's tale may have been to a lot of people, everybody forever and always have been fans of Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella, and seeing these two franchises come together as spin-offs, Chloe Charming and Red, was wonderful. And that's why I want Kylie Contrell and Freya Sky to know that, the support will forever and always be here for you guys. No matter how much in doubt you are of how you feel about how a critic may feel about you, this YouTube channel will forever and always be here for you to support you in ways that you could never ever imagine. Because that's what I wanted to create. I wanted to create something very special for everybody, so they could feel closer to a franchise than they ever thought possible. So they would realize that dreams do have a chance of actually happening and coming true for them. Because I really do believe that whatever your dream is, that dream is that much more achievable than you're ever given credit for. There are people always training in the gym to be the best swimmer, to be the best cheerleader, and I support that. Don't ever quit on your dreams. Don't ever quit on your dream, even if it is to be a part of the cast of Descendants, because I've seen that happen too. At meet and greets, people go up to Dove Cameron and Kylie Control all the time just to ask them if they could be in Descendants. And I find that really cool, because that just goes to show how much the franchises have meant to you and how much they've touched your heart. And I've seen the franchise touch thousands of hearts, and it's been seen on this YouTube channel by how many people hit the subscribe button all the time, because they too feel inspired by Descendants and Zombies characters. Maybe not so much by the story, but by the characters, because they dress up as the characters every year on Halloween. They come to my door looking for treats. I love Mars bars, so I buy hundreds of Mars bars every year, hundreds of boxes. And the thing is, I just put a shout out for everybody to come to my house for Halloween. Oh my God! And Halloween's only like 41 days away now. Big shout out to everybody dressing up as Descendants and Zombies characters. You know where to go now. But the thing is, I really do love it, because it shows how much of an inspiration Descendants and Zombies has been to everybody. So much so that you would dress up as your favorite character on Halloween. I love that so much. And how the message of kindness reigns true with Descendants and Zombies, because there are far more kind people in this world than ever before, that I give you a profound amount of credit. This is why I've uploaded my second podcast so early this morning, because I love Descendants and Zombies so much so that it's forever and always held a special place in my heart. And I really do believe that Descendants and Zombies has seen its fair share of criticism, but that doesn't mean that we can't do anything about it. I mean, we can choose to be just like every other person on YouTube and criticize this franchise, but we can give the franchise hope. We've got a year to go before Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland happens, and I'm incredibly excited to see where we go from here, because I think there are more nice things to be said about Descendants and Zombies and its stars than ever before. I'm really looking forward to Keanu Romero's portrayal of Captain Hook's daughter. I'm really looking forward to Leomani Segura's portrayal of Red Sister Pink. As difficult as those names are to roll off the back of your tongue, which I will get used to, because I have to talk about them for at least another year and many years to come, because these are two franchises that... The thing about me is, with a Disney franchise, I had this happen to me with High School Musical and Hannah Montana. I remember watching High School Musical 3 senior year in 2008, and when the movie had the end credits roll, I remember breaking down in tears, I kid you not, because I didn't want to say goodbye to this franchise. I have this thing where I don't want to say goodbye ever to a franchise, because it means so much to so many people. Perhaps it has something to do with how it's always and forever had a special place in my heart, but I've never ever wanted to say goodbye to franchises like Hannah Montana, High School Musical, and it carried on with Descendants and Zombies, because I see the passion that exists in everybody's heart, and I just love being in an atmosphere where everybody is just so incredibly supportive of everything having to do with Descendants and Zombies. So when I hear about how a fan loves Descendants and Zombies so much, I support it. And that's why I'm here to tell you guys that I see nothing wrong with you being a fan of Descendants and Zombies. Now, incredibly supportive you've been of two franchises that has forever and always held a special place in your heart, and will continue to inspire you for many years to come, because I've seen people as high up to 17 years old being at the Worlds Collide Tour, being so honored to be in your guys' presence. It's really incredible. It honestly is an unbelievable feeling that it creates for me to be your voice of Descendants of Zombies. I will elaborate more on this evening with a third podcast and probably a fourth before the day's end. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to do that, because I really do love being here for you guys talking about Descendants of Zombies. It means so much to me to be in your presence, to be the one guy on YouTube that actually commentates on Descendants of Zombies as opposed to uploading reaction videos. Because here's the thing. I feel as if there are way too many reaction videos on YouTube being uploaded about Descendants of Zombies that offer you no insight into the value of the product. Because, as I've often said, there's a greater appreciation that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies. If you don't have that greater appreciation to show in your videos, and why you're uploading so many reaction videos, it's because you don't know how to commentate on Descendants of Zombies. And because I've been a fan of Descendants of Zombies for at least the last decade, being the greatest decade of my life, there is no greater honor that I would rather want to have than to be in your guys' presence to talk about Descendants of Zombies. Because I do love Kylie Cantrell. I forever and always loved Ruby Rose Turner. And that support will forever and always be here for your favorite Descendants of Zombies stars. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to do that. I would love you forever if you would take a moment to hit my subscribe and my like buttons and ring my bell to stay up to date with notifications for this YouTube channel, because we still have so much of a story yet to witness, so much of a story yet to be told. And I, for one, am incredibly excited to be your voice of Descendants of Zombies, here to talk to you about Descendants of Zombies for the rest of my life, even if that's what that means. Thank you guys so much. I love you for subscribing to this YouTube channel. Keep on hitting my like and subscribe buttons, because I have a whole lot to say where Descendants of Zombies goes. Stay calm and zombie on, everybody, because that's the only way to be in this life.